Yeah, my name is Bill Beverly, co-CEO and CTO of Evolectric.
I'm Jakson Alvarez, co-CEO and CFO.
So we are Evolectric. We enable and advance electrification of medium-duty trucks, commercial vehicles. We take vehicles that start their lives as diesel or gas. We remove all those systems and replace them with 100% smart electric components and challenges in being co-CEOs.
I mean,
It's the easiest thing in the world.
yeah, that was another lesson learned from prior experiences is how titles can really get in the way of trying to have a team environment and team dynamic, because it can create silos. It can create, this is what I do, this is only what I do, or this is you. And when you're starting, it requires everybody to wear a lot of hats. It requires everybody to there being a lot of ambiguity and gray line of, okay, even though you're taking the lead on this, I'm also doing some of that. And then just figuring out that balance, because in one circumstance, is the skill set and the strength of one is best, and then in other circumstance, it's the opposite. So uh, getting rid of those titles early on, is a way of doing that. It comes with other challenges, but it's a way that we decided, for many years, out of 4.5 years we've been in business, probably at least half of it, we were just co-founders. That was it. And it was more about, okay, what areas are you leading and what areas am I leading? And then as we brought our team members, it wasn't about, who's the VP of this and who's the senior manager of that, and because it was a lot of what we saw in previous startups. And it just created a toxic environment because it promoted a lot more ego. And but at the same time, it does provide clarity when you do have defined titles. So it's something that you gotta keep balancing of, still providing the right, what is the job description, what is the areas of responsibilities, leverage something like a RASIC, that essentially tells you who's accountable, who's responsible, who should be informed, who is supporting. And and it's hard, because it requires constant communication and realignment and realignment and realignment. But at the same time, at least in my perspective, it it's like, iron sharpening iron. And not only the two of us, but that goes across the whole team, because that kind of, open job description that it's clear on certain things but still leaves ambiguity in others. It's at the different team members as well, and it requires them to talk more to, figure out that we have to do this as a team, and we're all accountable, we're all ultimately responsible, we're all trying to do the same thing. We all have a united mission, but we just have to find ways to play to our strengths and help each other on our weaknesses.
Yeah, and I would say for the co-CEO journey, it's been a lot of learning. It's another thing that we're used to is diving into a sector that that has established norms and mediums and finding ways around that. And so this is one of them where we dove in and said, let's share the responsibility and how we do this. And some of the learnings we've had that we've talked about was just providing clear and concise understanding of direction, and engaging the team to make sure they understand who ultimately, like Jakson mentioned, is accountable for a decision. Whose responsibility is it from a functional perspective? There are ways to get things done together that have to be shared a lot of times, but setting the expectation with the leadership team about who owns the bottom line in this and who is supporting from a near final vote perspective. I think that's really important to make co-CEO work, functionally for any other groups that are looking at it. And that's a discussion that has to go on all the time because the needs of the business evolve. Like in the early days of our journey, it's predominantly technology. It's we're talking about a sketch, a napkin sketch that turns into something that actually works. As the company grows and expands, it becomes less of that because that becomes a proof point. It's the first step in the process, and now it becomes operational excellence and scale and engaging to build this recipe outside of our four walls. So it's always something that we've engaged knowing that it's a temporary thing. Eventually, bigger business, bigger structures will separate and functionalize the rules. But our goal has always been to create a small, intimate understanding of a team from the very, very beginning. So we have a family here, and everybody has so many hats already that it made sense for us to go in and say, well, let's share the load where it needs to be shared. It also errs on the side of caution where it's like there's certain things that Jakson and I as leaders don't bring to the table, to be very honest. And it's something that we're striving to grow for the sake of the organization, but we have to do that through shared growth, right? So it's the combination of both of us doing the best we can. And a lot of times ego doesn't come with that. When you're on the same page and you recognize that we both have to do something that we've never done before, it's a lot better than one person being held accountable for doing that and not doing it, right? And not being able to do it. So it's something that's taken some growth, from both of us, but it's something that I don't think either of us regret as far as what we've been able to create as far as the organization.